Mama.
Mama.
Mama. Mama. He is saying mama. Do you ever just have one of those mornings? You know what I'm talking about. One of those mornings where it's 10 o'clock, you haven't eaten breakfast yet, you haven't gotten clean clothes on. I've changed my clothes, but they're not necessarily clean. They're just kind of what I found laying on the floor, which is a little gross. You haven't brushed your teeth, you haven't gotten the house picked up, you haven't gotten the dishes washed. You really are just having one of those mornings. The kids have been really fussy this morning. They've all had really big emotions. They've all needed lots of hugs and lots of talking to. And I've found that on these mornings, when really what I want to do is get the house picked up, get the dishes done, get school started, that if I don't just stop and take care of them and build relationship with them and fill up what I like to call their love buckets, if I don't stop and take that time to fill them up, that the whole day will just fall apart. And I've found too that it's worth it. It's worth it to just stop and build that relationship with them and then go on with my agenda. I've also found that I may just have to let that agenda go altogether. Now, we do have to do school, and I would love to get my house clean, but the house part may be the thing that doesn't get done today. School will get done. It's a school day. We have to get school done. But the house can wait. That is one thing that I can just wait on. So I would love to bring you guys along today to see how this day ends up going. I want to make bone broth today with you guys and discover and learn a little bit about what's the difference between chicken broth, just regular chicken broth, and bone broth. I want to go check on the kids and see how they're doing. Hey, how is everybody this morning? Joy, how you feeling now? What are you coloring?
The card.
Who gave that to you?
Hannah.
Yeah, and who else gave it to you?
Grace Madeline.
Madeline Grace. Is that her new sweet baby? What are you working on?
This.
That's very pretty. Let's check on the baby.
You know what?
Oh no, look what happened. He fell asleep in his high chair. Oh no, go back to sleep.
Shh, shh, shh.
So, I unsuccessfully laid him down for his nap. But that's okay. We're getting to spend a little time together. Hey, sweetness. Quick update, it's almost 11. I still have got nothing done. Ah, look at this house. Just look at it. There, laundry, bathroom looks terrible. Dishes. What a mess. What a mess. Still haven't started school. I have to tell myself that this is one of the benefits of homeschooling. Like, it's okay to start school later. I just like getting it done by lunchtime, so the rest of the day we can do other things, but that is not happening today. Not happening today. It's 12 o'clock. We still haven't started school. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Okay, we're just gonna move on. finally. Hours behind schedule. I'm gonna brush my teeth. I'm gonna put on some clean clothes. And I'm gonna go work on some more school. Joyful needed some time alone and lots more hugs. And so she went out to the treehouse to be by herself, and then she just ran inside crying.
It's a mouse! It's a mouse!
Okay, I wanted to show this to me. It's like a shrew. That's what it is. This is an eaten. Honey, that is a shrew. Somebody give me here's a stick.
But that's good. The cats killed it. Shrew.
Did that break your little heart?
What's a shrew? When animals die.
I know you
What's a
don't.
shrew? A shrew.
They live underground. I don't really know much about shrews. We should go read about them.
No. Bad job, kitties.
How you feeling?
When I was lying downstairs, I felt good, but when I just looked at that, I started crying. I kept on like it.
You scared me to death that the cat was dead. I was so sad and worried that your kitty had died. It can still make you sad that it was the shrew. Check out this guy. Animal it is. Even if it's a snake, it could make you sad. You don't have to like the kind of animal. Let's spot the baby just in case. What are you guys being?
Acrobat.
What are you? What what do acrobats do?
We're doing tricks. I'll show you. That's what you turn it, okay? That's what I want you to turn. That's what I want you to
Wow.
Now we're going to do it.
And it's as easy as that. That took like a minute. And now all I have to do is let that cook for 24 or 48 hours and I have bone broth. That's how simple it is. So have you ever wondered what the difference is between broth, stock, and bone broth? Well, I'm gonna tell you. Broth is meat, chicken, beef, whatever. It could also be vegetables, covered in water and simmer for 45 minutes. If it's meat, it is protein rich. It's real light, it's not thick. Yes.
Baba got out of his bed.
Stock is bones and water, and you simmer it much longer for 3 to 4 hours. And you come out with a much richer, much thicker broth, even though it's called stock. And it is full of gelatin, especially if you add chicken feet. I know for some of you, you may say, "Oh, that's so gross." But honestly, if you will add chicken feet to your stock, it will make a world of difference. It is so delicious, so nutritious, and you just feel good after you eat it. And now the king of all broths, at least in this house, is bone broth. What's the big deal with bone broth? There's a lot of talk right now about bone broth. And when I went to go research this, I thought, have I always been making bone broth, or have I just been making regular broth or stock? And so the way that you make bone broth is you have your bones and your water, and you simmer it, or you can do that on the stove for 24 to 48 hours, or I actually use a crock pot because I don't want to worry about the stove being on that long. So I just throw my chicken carcass into, or if you wanted to do beef bones, but I usually use chicken carcasses, and throw it into my crock pot, cover it with water, turn it on low, and I just leave it in there for, usually for me, it's about 36 hours. Though I have been known to cook it for a couple of days, just because, you know, when I go to take care of it, I'm not ready, I don't have what I need, or I just don't have time right then. So sometimes mine gets cooked, you know, for a good 3 days, and that's really fine. I personally don't add anything to my bone broth or any of my broths or stocks. I like to keep mine plain because then I can be really flexible on what I'm going to use it for. Like, I like to cook my rice in bone broth or stock, and I like to make soups, and I like to just drink it plain. And I typically actually don't just make broth. I either make stock or I make bone broth. Now, you wouldn't usually add feet to bone broth, but it doesn't really matter. You can do whatever you want to. The really good thing about bone broth is that it cooks so long that not only do you get the gelatin and the protein, you also get all those minerals that are in the bones. And you'll know that you've made a successful bone broth whenever you touch the bones and they just crumble. Really, you touch them gently in between your fingers and they just break, they just crumble. Now, I hope that helped for you guys clear up any confusion about the difference, and I also hope that you saw or can see that it is so simple to make. And what I usually do is I make it and then I freeze it. Now, if we're sick or if it's winter time when I'm making a lot of soup, I typically don't freeze it. I'll use it the next day. Another really important factor I feel like in making bone broth is making sure that the source of your bones is from a really clean, healthy source. Like specifically pasture-raised beef or chicken. Now, I know that can feel so expensive, but what I have learned in my family is that I buy the good meat and then I use it in every way I can. So like with a $20 chicken, which is what a grass-fed chicken basically costs, or a pasture-raised, I should say, a pasture-raised chicken costs, I will use it in soup, and I'll usually get, you know, 2 or 3 even meals out of it. I might get a supper and then 2 lunches out of it, and that's for the whole family. And then I make bone broth out of it. So then it doesn't really feel like that chicken cost me an arm and a leg.